The best way to live the life you truly want is to know what that life looks like. And that's why we make vision boards. And if you're not an arts and crafts person like me, don't worry. Today, we're going to make a digital vision board in Canva Pro. I've been doing this for the past 3 years, so I'll walk you through each step. Yo, editing Marissa here. So I did record a part of this video where I talked through my vision boards from the past 3 years just to show you how vision boards really do work. I realize that it's pretty long-winded. If you're curious, it's going to be at the end of the video, but I didn't want to make you sit through that if you're not interested. So we're just going to get into how to make a vision board, a digital vision board in Canva Pro. And if you're curious at the end as to how vision boards have helped me live my ideal life, then that'll be at the end. Quick note, I'll only show you bits and pieces of my current vision board. Call it a philosophy or a superstition, but I prefer to keep my current goals to myself until they're fully realized. Not that I don't trust you, it's mostly because you just never know who's lurking on the internet, and unfortunately not everyone has the best intentions for us. So that's why I'm gonna, keep it to myself for the most part and, move in silence this year. First things first. A vision board needs to be visual. So, gathering photos and images that align with the life you're working towards is key. We're using Canva Pro today, but honestly, I think this applies to any platform that you use. Canva has a stock photo library of its own, but I personally like to use Unsplash. I like Unsplash because the photos feel more organic and real rather than like the, stale kind of almost meme-esque photos you'll find on like any other stock photo library. So as I said, I use Unsplash. That's been my go-to for the past few years. But feel free to use Pinterest or again, whatever platform you prefer. As a filmmaker, I've also used ShotDeck and FrameSet. I think last year is probably the first year I used these two websites. These are two websites I use to help me visualize my projects in the form of mood boards, pitch decks, and so on and so forth. But for my vision boards, I try not to use too many images or stills from movies, especially ones that have celebrities in them, because this vision board is about you. It's not about some famous person, unless you're trying to meet your favorite band or actor, whoever. I mean, that's cool. But this vision board is for you. You are the main character, and don't you forget it. And if I do use photos that involve people or faces, I typically cover their eyes or obscure their faces, because again, this is about you, and I think it's important to see yourself in the life that you're envisioning. It really comes down to finding images that align with your own personal style, tastes, and aesthetics. And when in doubt, remember Marie Kondo's advice: it should spark joy. After all, your vision board has to be true to you and your ideal life. You want to look at it and feel inspired. As you gather images, think about all areas of your life: career, relationships, finances, travel, health, hobbies. Basically anything that contributes to a happy, fulfilled life. And the more images, the better. Don't worry about using them all. It's always better to have too many than not enough. Take your time and pick the photos that speak to you the most. You want them to resonate with your dreams and goals. And once you've collected your images, it's time to assemble them into a collage. Now it's time to put everything together. This part is completely up to you. You might want a very minimal, organized look, or maybe you're more into a freeform collage. This is by and large why I love to use Canva Pro to make my vision boards. The background removal tool changed my life. Speaking as someone who grew up learning on the earliest versions of Photoshop. I personally love collage making, so when I do this, I go all out, as you can see. But remember, if you're new to this, know that that's totally okay. Know that the goal here is to make something that you like, and when you look at it, you feel inspired and motivated to continue working towards the life that you want. Once you have your images arranged, I personally like to add text, specifically affirmations or intentions. But you don't have to do this if it's not your thing. For me, these affirmations help reinforce the person I want to become and the life I want to live. When adding text, I recommend writing your affirmations in the present tense. For example, instead of saying, I will be a successful filmmaker, say, I am a successful filmmaker. Why? Because our minds can't distinguish between what's real and what's not. So, writing these affirmations in the present tense helps our brain accept it as part of your reality now. Now that your vision board is looking good, it's time for the final step. Making sure you see it every day. Whether you make it your desktop wallpaper, lock screen, or you print it out, just make sure it's somewhere visible. I like to print mine out and keep it in my planner so I can look at it daily. This year, I have a bullet journal, so I'll keep it in here. It's all about keeping those images in front of you because the more you see them, the more they become your reality. And that's it. You've made a digital vision board in Canva Pro or wherever you may have made it. And I can't wait to see your vision board come to life. But just know whether your vision board is physical or digital, the power of visualization is real. Before you create your own, I want to share digital vision boards I've made over the past few years. I'm doing this not to flex, but to show you what's possible and to prove to you that making vision boards really works. So as I said, I've been making digital vision boards on Canva Pro for the past 3 years. So I'll show you mine from 2022, 2023, and 2024, just to give you ideas. And also, again, as I said, I don't mean to flex on you. I am truly just showing you what on my vision boards has come to life, has come true, only for the sake of showing you that making vision boards works. I would say most things that I've put on my vision boards have either come true or are currently becoming my reality. Not everything has come to fruition just yet, but every year I get closer and closer. And I think that's also something I want to remind you guys throughout this video is that you're going to make this vision board for 2025 or whenever you're making this vision board. And it may not happen within the year that you're making it. If anything, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to dreaming up our ideal life, it does take more time than maybe we think, but just setting the intention and just putting the images and the words on our vision boards makes it that much more real. So after you make your vision board today in Canva Pro, you're going to be that much closer to living the life of your dreams. So let's look at my vision boards from the past 3 years. 2022, I look at this and honestly, my vision boards, they look different, obviously, but I think as you'll see the next two, they've only just become more refined and more specific as I get closer and closer to these dreams and as they have come to real life. 2022. I will say, maybe just overall, as you're looking at this, my life has become more centered and focused on creating, whether it be for YouTube or making films. I've definitely done a lot since 2022. I think 2022 was also the year I decided to really commit to becoming a cinematographer, and since then I've shot many projects as the DP, so that has come to life. But let's move on, because 2023, let me tell you, 2023 was one of the best years of my life. So let's move on. So just get a little inspiration from this. Again, I did start incorporating words in this one, and as you'll see in the next two, I got more specific. I actually started writing actual like sentences or actual affirmations, intentions. Here, these are just like one word or phrases. 2023, as I said, this year was one of my best years I've had in the most recent time. again, I think I lived most of this in 2023, and I'm continue to live most of this. I probably think the biggest thing that has yet to come to life is like I've yet to move out of my family's home. I live in a multi-generational household like many Filipino Americans do. Just to be honest with you all, I mean, San Diego ain't cheap, but I do hope to have my own space in the near future, and that's what I'm working towards every day. Yeah, this year, 2023 was actually just like a fun year. I did a lot of things that I've always wanted to do. Go to Coachella. I went on a cruise with my family. And I really just started to like build a life that I really enjoyed, like with myself. Like, of course, I have my family and my friends, but it was also a year where I really kind of built myself back up and really started to enjoy my life like on my own, in the sense of like it. Of course, I love spending time with family and with friends, but I really started to come into my own and enjoy my own company, and also get really, really clear on what I wanted for myself in my career as a cinematographer, as a filmmaker, and also just like what I want in life in general. And as I said, like it's only gotten more specific and more refined as time has gone on. I'll go through this one a little bit more deeply. I walk for my mind, body, and soul. I started to walk more, which has become a foundational habit for myself. It's just good for my mind, body, and spirit, as I said. This slate right here, I didn't make a doc. This WWS, this was actually the working title for my short film, You and Me Will Always Be Back Then. So I have since made You and Me Will Always Be Back Then. This Bunk Beds title, I am developing that one probably in more of an anthology, and I'll talk about that more when it's a little bit more of a thing. So yeah, this I definitely manifested this. This has definitely come to life. I was on set a good amount in 2023. I shot, I think, like 3 short films. In 2023, I shot like 3 music videos, and I really, really stepped into becoming a director of photography. And a lot of people like trusted me with their projects, which in turn helped me like trust myself as a cinematographer, as an artist. I collaborated a lot. Yep. We made a lot of cinema. I was booked and busy. I continue to train in martial arts. I'm still working on getting those abs. But yeah, overall, look at this, and it does ring true to what my 2023 experience was. And since then, I've only built upon that. All right, let's move on to 2024. 2024, last year, at least at the time of me recording this, 2024 was also a tough year, in a different way than 2022 was. But as I said, I think I just became more dialed in on what I wanted for myself as a filmmaker, as just someone existing in my communities. And I look at this and I think the only thing that hasn't come true, I'm not actively living at this moment in time, is the apartment and the abs. But everything else, either I'm living it currently or like I'm so close to it. I still walk every day for my mind, body, and soul. I lead by example. Being the writer-director of my short film, You and Me Will Always Be Back Then, really showed me that I could direct films and I could bring people together. And we not only made a beautiful film, but had probably one of the most beautiful experiences that I've ever had. And I've heard from my cast and crew members that they also had just a wonderful experience. And I think honestly that's what means more to me about that project than anything. So yeah, I'm a great leader on set and in my community. I'm still working on those streams of income. My peace is my priority. It was a tumultuous year, but I think ultimately I found my way back to myself. I think this year these abroad experiences will happen. Again, I'm working towards that. I continue to grow and advance as a career cinematographer, and I think even though this year I was mostly focused on directing a film, it kind of, directing the film made me realize, I can direct, but it made me realize, oh yeah, no, actually I am more primed and I'm more suited to be a cinematographer. I think the story I want these to tell you is that year by year, I have essentially put the same things on my vision board when it comes to my filmmaking career, when it comes to getting my own apartment, getting my own place, when it comes to creating on YouTube, or just creating in general when it comes to my health. It's all kind of stayed the same, but it's become more refined. And I think that's actually a really, really important story to tell, because yes, like when we think about our dreams and we think about the vision for our life, we kind of want it to happen, instantaneously. As much as like we don't want to admit it to ourselves, we kind of just like, hey, I want to work out and I want to see abs the next day. Like we all kind of feel that way when it comes to anything. And I mean anything in life, it takes time and it takes focus to accomplish certain things, and more so, it takes time to shift your identity to be the person that is doing all these things and is capable of doing all the things. And I don't mean that in a way that you're not capable right now, because like you absolutely are. But I think something I've discovered, and to get a little bit deep with you, is like sometimes just like energetically we're not ready for it, or maybe we're not even at the level that we need to be to accomplish a certain thing, or maybe we have yet to learn certain lessons so that we could fully receive things in the way that we're meant to receive. And all that to say, it just takes time. And yes, I do believe things can happen like instantaneously, but I also think that for the most part, things take longer than you think they do. And I hope you take that not as a discouragement, but just to have a healthy relationship with your dreams and what you're manifesting, what you're envisioning for your life. Is like, give yourself time. As someone who's 30 years old, those of you who are in your 20s, I don't mean to like pull big sister or pull, if you're Filipino, pull ate on you, but it does take time. But as the story of these 3 vision boards over these past 3 years tell, is that your vision is only going to get clearer. What you want for yourself, you'll only refine it. I think it doesn't change so much. And even if it does change a lot or drastically, that's okay too. But I think once you know what you want and you kind of laser in on it, I promise you, like nothing and no one's going to get in the way. Like the only person that's going to get in the way of what you want and what you put on this board today is you. But first things first is knowing what you want, so that you can take the proper steps and actions toward that life. Thank you for making it this far in this video. If we haven't met yet, I'm Marissa Roxas, a filmmaker based in San Diego, California. I'm documenting my own journey on how I live and create intentionally, and in doing so, I hope to help you do the same. So if that sounds good and you're down to vibe,